Hi, my name is Allison Johnson, and I'm going to talk about photosynthesis. And what photosynthesis does in a plant, it takes the energy of sunlight, and it uses it to produce ATP and NADPH. And once those are produced, it takes those two carriers and it consumes them to fuel the synthesis in order to produce sugars and amino acids and fatty acids and stuff like that. So as you can see, we have a photon of light comes in, hits a thylakoid. At the same time, water gets split to produce oxygen, releases oxygen. And once the photon of light goes through the stage one, called the light reactions through the thylakoid, it produces ATP and NADPH. And then once they are produced, it goes through the dark reactions or the Calvin cycle, and the Calvin cycle fixes carbon dioxide. Fixes carbon dioxide, goes through the Calvin cycle here, and ATP and NADPH is then used to produce sugars, amino acids, and fatty acids, stuff like that. So here are the light reactions. Here looks like a lot going on. Um, well, what happens during the light reactions? We start off with a photon of light, and it goes to the photosystem 2 here. And it's called photosystem 2 because it was the second photosystem found in this reaction here. Um, but as you can see, we have water, 2 molecules of water goes in, gets split, produces oxygen and some protons. At the same time, water is getting split here. Light goes in, excites this electron. Once this electron is excited, a electron carrier comes in. This one's called plastoquinone, and the plastoquinone takes this electron and takes it to an electrochemical proton gradient. So we'll have a concentration gradient where it goes from low to high here, a high gradient. Then, once the electron is finished being used here to regulate the proton gradient, the electron is then carried again from another proton carrier here called plastocyanin. And plastocyanin then takes it to photosystem 1, which was the first photosystem found. And then a photon of light comes in and it takes it to the ferredoxin NADP reductase. And what happens here is ferredoxin comes in and reduces NADPH plus and makes NADPH. So through this whole process where the electron is going across this reaction, it then promotes another electrochemical gradient, which is ATP synthase here, and ADP comes in, and then ATP is produced. So now we have our NADPH, and we also have ATP in our light reactions. Once the light reactions is finished, we then have the Calvin cycle. And here in the Calvin cycle, we start off with 3 molecules of carbon dioxide, and these 3 molecules are fixed by ribulose 1,5-biphosphate. And how it's fixed is through this enzyme called rubisco. So once the 3 molecules of carbon dioxide is fixed by rubisco, it then turns into the 3-phosphoglycerate here. And then 6 ATPs are consumed, and then 6 ADP comes out. Then, because we have changed the reaction here, we now have 1,3-biphosphate glycerate, and that way we are using 6 NADPH is then consumed, and 6 NADP and 6 phosphates are coming out. So then the 6-glycerate 3-biphosphate, we use one molecule of it in order to produce the sugars, fats, amino acids, and so on. Then the 5 molecules of glyceride 3-biphosphate then comes over to, in order, we use more ATP and produces more ADP. It comes out, and we also have 2 phosphates here. And then we're back at the 3-ribulose 1,5-biphosphate, so we can fix another 3 molecules of carbon. So every 3 molecules of carbon that we use, we are able to produce 1 molecule of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, so we can then make sugars, amino acids, and fats, so on. And that is photosynthesis.